Well, I can never remember a time not wanting to fly airplanes, but at somewhere around between 6 and 7 years old, we did a field trip out to Detroit Metropolitan Airport. And in that trip, I got to sit up in the left seat of an airliner, and I was holding on to the yoke and looking at all the lights and the panel, and there was a pilot chaperoning us up in the front end. I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "This is what I'm going to do." And that was somewhere in 1968.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
I'm Terri Hull. I'm a professional pilot for a company called NetJets. I always had this desire to fly, and throughout school I kept finding some way. I couldn't go up in the airplanes at that point, but I looked into going to the Air Force Academy. My dad did 4 years in the Air Force as a jet mechanic, and I can remember finding out that I didn't have good enough eyesight to go into the Air Force or to the Academy or anything to be a pilot. So I said, okay, that's not going to happen. I went to college, got my degree ultimately in education. I met my husband, future husband there. We got married right after college, and I taught school for a couple of years. I saved up some money. We would go out shopping, and I started buying books, flying magazines. And I would tell my husband, don't worry, I'm not going to spend the money yet. But finally, in December '86, I took my first official lesson, and I ultimately got my private pilot lessons. I think it was May 7th. I got the license done, or the certificate, on May 7th, '87. And once I was hooked, I was hooked. I quit teaching school, worked up to my flight instructor certificate and instrument and flight instructor, and I started instructing at Salina Lake Field Airport. That was my first position for about a year. And then I went over to Portland, Indiana, and I started instructing there, and I instructed in total 11 years. And after that, I progressed to a regional airline job. It was with Mesaba Airlines. It was a regional for Northwest Airlines, and I was Detroit-based, flying a Saab 340 turboprop. And I did that for just over 6 years, and I got hired in NetJets in August '06. I have a Cessna 140 that I bought from the first person that I instructed for, and I bought that in November '91. So I'm coming up on 32 years ownership of a Cessna 140, and I own an RV6 that was certified in 2010, and I've owned that for 7.5 years now. But I've gotten to fly some other things with other people and experienced quite a wide variety of aircraft, especially tailwheel airplanes on my off time. That's the most fun. I love when you take off and you climb out, that you can leave everything else on the ground, because now you're focused on just enjoying the flying and trying to do it right and enjoying the view. But up there, it's just, you have a sense of freedom. It starts out as a fun thing to do. If it becomes a passion, don't stop at just a job. Don't let it be just a job. Let it be part of your life, and remember to have fun with it. If I go to work, I'll fly with someone, and sometimes they'll say, "I just don't see why you'd want to do this on your off time." Well, it's just become a job to them. I can't wrap my brain around that. That passion is what makes it worth pursuing. Is it a good job? Sure. But if you quit having fun with it, then it's no different than sitting in a cubicle anywhere else.